Crew's ready to compete today. Everybody's looking and feeling good. Let's go. Yes, sir. Let's go. Win. That's it. Hey guys, Coach Adrian here. Going to give you a little bit of the highlights and the lowlights from the event. Not everybody's matches were covered, but we're going to do our best. Unfortunately, AJ's matches weren't covered at all, so instead we're showing this video of him weighing in. We know him coming in at 115 to 119 pounds. Typically, he can get matches with guys his size, but they found him somebody close. I think most of his opponents were 15 to 20 pounds heavier. Went 0-2. But he did amazing things at white belt. Now that he's starting at blue belt, I'm excited to see where his journey takes him. I know that he'll do amazing. Mike Pell, unfortunately, got armbarred in this match here. He didn't stay square in the guard. But honestly, part of competition is that you learn so much faster. I do think that mat hours are so crucial to your growth, honestly. And I equate one day of tournament to about 20 hours in regular mat time. You know, you get an adrenaline dump, you're fighting hard, a stranger, you're representing your school. I know he'll learn from this. Armando. Armando's tough. He's one of our guys that, you know, shortly after this, you'll see that promoted him to blue belt. But gets in on those legs, drives. You don't see it in the video too much, but dumped his opponent over right into mount. Gets 2 for the takedown, 4 for the mount. Here he goes for a risky armbar. Didn't set it up super beautifully, but gets it in anyway. But guy escapes. He's good in that triangle in. The guy survives a triangle, and Armando, he's not a wrestler, but he plays like such a wrestler. He makes his way back to his feet, as you guys can see here. I don't like that he gets too emotional. I think this is great for MMA, but for Jiu-Jitsu, I'd like to see him be a little bit more methodical. Pancakes his opponent at the end, so he gets a takedown and then a mount again. Armando's good. He's tough. He's got things to work on. What happened in this match, actually, so he hurt his ribs in the middle of one of those takedowns. He lost his second gi match, and I don't think we have that on video, but had the same opponent for no gi. Now, at this point in the day, this is later on, and his ribs were really hurting him. Finishes with a nice takedown again. Lost his next, but really, I think the biggest thing for him was that his ribs got in the way. They were hurting him, and he had to take some time off afterwards. But I promoted him to blue belt, and man, this was a magical moment. He deserved it, and honestly, it wasn't so much about the tournament results as much as him getting out there, and he was already getting to that blue belt stage. I saw him play guard a little bit, which is something he doesn't really do too much of, and to start doing it in competition, I know it was very he had to overcome a lot just to do that alone. And amongst other things, I mean, this guy has been growing so much. He's been training about a year. So, like I told him, and you don't really hear in the video here, but it was never about how you competed, how you performed in this tournament. You were a blue belt coming into these matches today, and it was time that we promoted you. There's his buddy Bart. Moving on to Justin Gerkart. Gerkart is really crafty. Hasn't been training that long for jiu-jitsu. He has a wrestling background, but most of his opponents in his division were also wrestlers, so I was really excited to see how he performed and how he utilized the gi for takedowns. Now his opponent gets a nice, in judo they call it koshiguruma, in wrestling headlock, but a nice headlock. Tries to toss Gerkart. Gerkart slips in that right hook, loses the right hook, but is able to stabilize the left hook, and this was kind of the story of the day for most of his matches, taking the back and mounting. The opponent was strong enough to bridge and escape. Gerkart's another one who was outweighed by most of his opponents because, like AJ, he's only, I think, $125 or something, and I think the weight limit was something around 136. I could be wrong, 141, but either way, when you grip up with somebody like Gerkhardt, he's such a strong, grindy competitor. I don't think it really matters so much his size. He ends up getting a crisscross here, a semi-triangle, looking to set up the triangle. But his opponent, I think, was just really strong. And instead of underhooking that leg to get a good angle on the triangle, he ends up rolling him over and getting on top. I do think he gets 2 points for this. Obviously, he doesn't get mount points because he's in a triangle. He has to dismount and get the full mount points. But opponent survives, recovers half guard, and Gerkhardt's just putting pressure. I gotta tell you, if you ever roll with somebody like him, his shoulder pressure is insane, and he's trying to set up. He's been working on Ezekiel chokes a lot in the gym, but right here he's trying to set up an arm triangle. I believe his opponent actually survives the arm triangle. And you'll see he plays with this half Nelson, we call it in wrestling, a lot to keep people flat to the mat, because he'd rather finish from mount than taking the back. I'd like to see him take the back more and finish bow and arrows. Great match. He wins that. Gets another tough kid, and this kid looked really good in his first match. So we knew there was going to be a little bit of a dog fight. But it's that pancake right there. His opponent takes a knee and pancakes him, mounts him, kind of the same thing as before, lays the pressure on him. And Gerkhardt is so strong here. Laces up that Ezekiel choke. I don't think he finishes this one. He might have been this only moment. He might have actually finished it. But now this opponent was really good. I mean, he told us afterwards that he's been training for 16 years. So I wasn't sure how he's still white belt, but excellent opponent. I'm glad that Gerkhardt got to go against this guy in the finals, because he won't face competition like this too much in the regional level. And Gerkhardt, I think his opponent actually pulled guard and hits this beautiful Kayotera ankle lock where he's got the De La Riva hook and he's wrapping around the ankle. Gerkhardt was already in pain. I talked to him afterwards, but he just wanted to grind and didn't want to tap. He's thinking about it. That foot locks in, and he wanted to kick the butt, roll out of the way, free the knee line, but it was a little too much. Now his last match for the day was a nogi. Hits a nice takedown. Ends up in his guard. Now he pressures forward too much throughout most of the match. His opponent is able to get the semi-triangle in for a little bit here. I think, if I remember correctly, Gerkhardt got out of this eventually. Now they think that he's going to slam, but he wasn't going to slam. He was just looking to pick up. But moral of the story, he ends up in triangles again. And he never taps. However, look at the out-of-bounds line right there. He starts moving backward, trying to get out of the triangle. And there's a learning lesson for Gerkhardt. He tried to back out of the triangle, went out of bounds, and he got disqualified. I think he would have ran through the Nogi division, but this kid is the future. I know he's going to do so good. Went 3-2 for the day, and silver medal in his gi bracket. Couldn't ask for more. And Jay Cuz. Jay Cuz is so coachable. Sky's the limit for this guy. New to grappling, but definitely an amazing athlete. Catches his guillotine here. I would have liked to see him sprawl from that takedown a little bit earlier and spin to the back, but instead his opponent falls to his left hip, climbs his legs, gets either a 2-on-1 grip or a collar sleeve grip, and catches a beautiful angle on Jay Cuz. Jay Cuz is such a tank though. Pressures those legs, pulls out, finds a seatbelt grip on the back. There we go. There's a right hook, and he has that right hook and a seatbelt grip. I think he's going to switch it off to a body triangle. There it is, yeah. Again, he's so coachable. I mean, both in the gym and in competition, the sky's the limit for Jay Cuz. Since this tournament, he's improved so much better at setting up his guillotine chokes, setting up triangle chokes, but right here, almost has the guillotine, doesn't quite pass the guard off of it, and his opponent recovers. I think wrestles up right about here. Jay Cuz gave up an underhook, and his opponent used his left arm underhook to wrestle up, getting in on that double leg. The guillotine choke isn't really in here. It feels like he is. He probably has it in, but he wasn't covering that opposite side, that left side of the opponent's head to cover that carotid artery on that point, and lost by points. But hey, listen, he won 2 matches in the gi, 2 matches in no gi. Didn't medal for the day, but did wonderful. Every time he steps on those mats, he really brings out a better version of himself. He's typically like the nicest guy on the mats, and to see him kind of bring out that beast in him is really, really neat. Arm drag.
Go for it, you're good. Put him in,
He's got wide shoulders.
No hook, no hook,
Let him take you back. Defensive posture.
Get those points. There you go. 1, 2. Now right on that. Right on it. Right on it.
Let that piss you off. You got this now.
Nice. Now come on top. Good job,
Go.
Now this right here was a redemption match for Jay Cuz. Lost to this guy in the gi and had a redemption match in no gi. Unfortunately, spent about 3 or 4 minutes on their feet, and this right here was a deciding factor. Opponent about to get that, I think that left arm overhook on Jay Cuz. And the ref gave him an advantage for this. It's questionable. Let us know in the comments what you think. Should his opponent gotten that advantage? I don't know. We thought we had this takedown here, but we didn't get the points for it. We were all screaming too, thinking that it was a takedown, but ref gave it to his opponent, saying it was a guard pull. Lost by an advantage, but hey, sometimes just competition alone is the greatest teacher, and he'll grow from this. He wasn't even training 4 months yet, so he'll grow from this experience, and he has. He's improved so much since. This tournament was in June, and yeah, now we're in September. He's gotten so much better. And Gino Fleury, we knew he had a bunch of high-level wrestlers, a couple collegiate guys in his division, so we knew he had to be ready for a scrap. His opponent here, I believe, was a district champion and possibly a Jersey placer. Pretty sure he was, which overall means a lot in accolades in wrestling. So it was a battle for a lot of inside position for collar grips. And they almost nullified each other's game. I think his opponent eventually ends up pulling, looking to wrestle up and stuff. So let's see, they're fighting for inside control. There he is. He pulls guard. He's looking for sticky hooks, but Gino just keeps looking to pass. And it's kind of the story of the match here. Is his opponent pulled and tried wrestling up, using his wrestling, from the wrestle up. Gino has a beautiful way of just sprawling heavy, separating his legs and getting in on that 5-on-2 there, that crotch lift. I've seen him hit this so many times in the gym where you have his false pretense that you think you're in on his legs, and then all of a sudden you're like flying over his shoulder, and I think he's about to hit it right about here. There it is, yeah. Typically can pass off that, but his opponent was a scrapper. Gets a crab right here. Would have liked to seen him have more control of the far shoulder. He has a left hook, but no control of the right shoulder. Ends up scoring a big takedown, and I think this kind of wins the match here. 2-0. Ends up scoring a couple advantages, but never quite passes his opponent's guard. Definitely something to work on. Gino's another one who's improved immensely since this match, since this tournament. Ended up giving him blue belt eventually, so we'll put that on the YouTube. This opponent, wow, was such a scrapper. We knew he had a judo background, so that was something that I really wanted, Gino to kind of have looks in, is high-level gi players off their feet. Even though you can't tell by this highlight, his opponent actually was in the match the entire time. Didn't get a chance to score on Gino, but he was always fighting. He was a dangerous opponent. We looked him up on Smooth Comp. I think he has like 8 or 10 victories by submission. So he was a game opponent. Gino won by, I believe, by points. Got an advantage here for the arm triangle, but yeah. Here's the finals match. Opponent had a really nice guard. And I think, yeah, so Gino didn't stagger his stance there. Guy who had long legs was able to jump a semi-triangle, but Gino gets past those legs and starts putting a pace on him. Opponent recovers half guard. I would have liked to seen Gino bring that right foot closer to the tailbone, free up his knee line, and pass a little bit sooner here. But I think he gets past the guard regardless. This kid was really good at recovering every time, though, and trying to threaten submissions. There he goes. He passes, gets a grapevine in for control, stabilizes on top.
Unfortunately, wasn't able to do the no-gi division, but hey, first place gi, so cool. My man Barty missed this match, got the tail end of it, but won by mounted triangle. He's really good in the scramble. I always tell him, get lost in the scramble, chase the back every time. This opponent in particular, we didn't have the full match, but this was a scrap too. Barty ends up winning by points. I didn't want him to become complacent, just giving up 2 points and starting to play bottom, because he does have a good guard. But I told him, if you're on top, stay on top. So he's scrambling here, fighting for position. Opponent ends up thinking he has like a Kimura or something, and Barty's able to climb the back, hook that far shoulder. He's about to hit it right there, yeah. Shoulder hook, walks inside, scores, and wins this match by points, I believe. This match was a good 2 or 3 minutes of them just playing off their feet. Barty, I think, threatened with more takedowns. His opponent was from Unity, so you know that he's got good jiu-jitsu. But eventually, opponent pulls guard. Barty starts putting the pressure. Barty has endless cardio. He just did like a half marathon recently. one of those guys who pushes everybody to the gym. His guard passing has really reinvented itself since this tournament. He went 7-1 for the day. His one loss was he lost by triangle nogi, um, and I think it was off a reset or something. So he's evolved so much since these matches in particular. But right here he's playing double unders. Opponent has a beautiful frame and is able to always square up and try to slip at least 1 foot inside and always keeping feet on the hips on Barty. Barty ends up just pushing the pace on him, wins by points. I think might have submitted him, but again, some of these matches were going back and forth, so our buddy Squid, who's doing the video, didn't get all the matches. Opponent here comes from a really, really good jiu-jitsu school, actually my friend's jiu-jitsu school. Up top, martial arts in Wayne, and they have an amazing jiu-jitsu program, so we knew this guy was going to be tough. He has a nice little rubber guard, looking for a go-go plata, possibly a carny. But yeah, Barty escapes his right elbow, right about here. His opponent, another really, really game opponent, and I love that our guys are able to compete against these guys that have such a high level. You see that here in the East Coast now. But now he's laying the pressure on his opponent, looking to float past those legs, looking for inside control with his right arm. Here he goes, nice. So he feeds that left hand of his opponent to his own left hand, and here he's looking to pass, pinning that leg or that arm into a chicken wing underneath the guard, and this was a saving grace for Barty. A couple times, guy jumped up triangles, but Barty, like I said, is such a scrapper, such a scrambler. Was always able to get past. I think he passed everybody's guard that day. Passes here, and I think this might have won him the match. I ended up promoting him to blue belt a couple days later. Remember this kid's name, Bart Yarosh. He's the future. For anybody interested in training with us, come through to Blairstown, New Jersey. Google us, Instagram, Lobo, MMA, NJ. Just stop in. Feel free to train, cross-train. We're cool with it. Thank you for watching, guys. Every like, comment, and subscribe helps us so much. So, yeah, stay tuned.